morning. Good morning, Renaissance Unity. So, I want you guys to repeat an affirmation with me this morning. So, when I say this to you, I want you to say it back to me. I am awesome by nature. I am great by choice. So that time you guys said it because I said for you to say it. This time I want you to say it and embrace what you're saying and how it means for you. I am awesome by nature. I am great by choice. One more time. I'm awesome by nature. I am great by choice. So good morning, Renaissance Unity. How we doing? Good, good. So my creative message with you this morning is the power of the soul. The power of the soul. I'm going to tell you that this message was inspired by two different reasons. So recently in my mastermind group, I was talking to my mastermind partners about some of the things that life has kind of brought to me within this year, but also kind of as we got out of last year. Some of you may know that I lost my brother in October, but I don't know if some of you guys know, I was missing for the month of February, and that's because my nephew was shot and killed. So there's something to be said about life experiences that you go through and that you also have to grow through. But what I have found out is that there's a healing power within the soul. And there's something that allows it to create, not only just create, but mediate, and then also continue to elevate you in moments of struggle and in moments of trials. And so today, what I want to talk about is a little bit of the power of your soul. You know, it was Dr. Miles Monroe that expressed that the soul is comprised of your mind, your will, and your emotions. Your mind, your will, and your emotions. And the reason why that's important for you to know is because you have to be very intentional with what you put into your mind and how it informs you. Because if you're not careful, that very information that you take in is what can actually form your mind. That's why it's called information. You have to be very careful what you take in to your mind. The will are the decisions that you make, the choices that we have each and every day. And then as you know, our emotions, sometimes it can be on a roller coaster kind of experience. And so I want to share to you today that it's so important that you embrace the body or the very essence of the soul that you have within you. I want to take a moment to shout out my fiance. She didn't know I was going to do this. But just recently, she was Woman of the Week by the Detroit Pistons. So can we just give her a round of applause? And I share that because in the moment of me being down on the court this past week, there was a lot of thoughts going through my mind. And she doesn't know this. But in the midst of everything I've gone through, I've watched her be an inspiration for me. She's been by my side in the loss of my brother. She went with me to Atlanta to bury my nephew. But watching her journey of watching her be fired from her employment to being deployed into what she's doing now has really just continued to give me strength. So what I'm going to do for you today is share with you 3 discernments that I have gained of recognizing the power of your soul. So the first thing that came to my mind was the importance of intention. The importance of intention. And the reason why intention is so important is Reverend Glenn shared with us in a few messages ago. He said, a lot of times we give so many things our attention, but we forget to set our intention. And so when you're setting your intentions, which are those desires, those dreams, those goals that you have, you must recognize the importance of what they can do for you. This goes into how you're able to develop and create the person that you want to be, but also how you can also evolve into the spirit that God has called for you to be. I remember when I was growing up, there was this commercial, and some of you may remember this commercial, and it was like this cooking device that you could put something in it, and it was set it and forget it. How many of you guys remember that? Set it and forget it. And so many times, I think we do that with our intentions, or we do that with our desires, or we do that with our goals. We set them, but then we forget them. But what I have learned, and all that I've done in terms of demonstrating in my life, is I have set it, and then I go get it. That's also what my fiance does, which is why I'm always inspired by her. She sets a goal, then she go gets it. She makes it happen. So that was one discernment of my mind in terms of when I thought about the power of the human soul, is that we have to put action behind the desires, the goals, the dreams, and the aspirations that we have. Because if you don't put action behind them, again, it's just like the Bible says, faith without works is dead. So make sure that you set your intention, but make sure you also go after your intention to go get it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is know the power of your source. Know the power of your source. And know where your source comes from. The beauty of me being able to listen to Reverend Glenn is one of the things he always talks about is that the power of God lies within us. And so often, if we displace that power outside of us, we always think that we're waiting on God. But I believe God is waiting on us. And if you really believe that he's the source and that source lives within you, then as you experience the world around you, you can actually be a resource. You can be a resource for others. You can be a resource for your family. You can be a resource for your friends. You can be a resource for your community. But you have to understand the importance of the source and what you're plugged into. You have to know where your source and your energy comes from. And that divine spirit that lives within all of us, not just within me, not just within you, but all of us, is God. And then my last discernment is the power for you to understand that God created you to be. So down at the bottom, you may notice on my slide, I put just because. Just because. We often think about a question, and then the response to that question is because. Or if our mom, when we were younger, and she would ask, well, why did you do that? Because. But so many times we forget that God created us to be. That within each and every one of us, there's a specific calling, there's a specific assignment, there's a specific purpose that we are here on this earth to carry out. So the sooner we are to just be, our explanation to others can just be because. The last thing I'm going to share with this one is one of the things that I talk with my students about when I work with high school students that I help get to college is that they have three rights to be, and I may have shared this before, and that is the right to believe, the right to belong, and the right to become. And I share with them that no one can take that away from you. It was our founding fathers that said we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But what I know is that every human soul is looking for a space to believe, a place to belong, and a time to become. Every human soul looks for a space to believe, a place to belong, and a time to become. So Renaissance Unity, there is something very special about the soul that you have. There's something special about what Dr. Miles Monroe says, that our human soul comprises of our will, our mind, and our emotions. There's something special about the fact that our soul can create, can mediate, and also elevate. But what I want all of you to embrace in this room is the very affirmation that I started off with, which is you are awesome by nature, and you are great by choice. And so in your decisions that you make each and every day, my hope is that you would choose love. My hope is that you would choose life. And my hope is that you'll always remember that you have a choice to elevate yourself to another level. That is the power of the human soul. Thank you for having me this morning, Renaissance Unity.